Voron 0.2. I mean, not 0.2, but Voron 0.1 video 2. And in previous video I assembled the frame, the back of the frame up to this point. And now I need to remove these two extrusions, sorry, these two extrusions, and put together the rest of the frame, finally. So these two side extrusions were put just for the purpose of alignment. And now let's remove them. The next step is preloading or feeding in a lot of nuts. 6 nuts here, 6 nuts on the opposite side, and 1 nut of the back of the top extrusion here. So the top extrusion is which has bigger gaps here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 nuts on the bottom, 6 nuts on top, and 1 nut here. Then comes these two rails with 2 extrusions with rails pre-installed, and they should be put all the way here. So basically press it till the very end and fix it with a screw. I suppose there is one more thing that you definitely gonna need to assemble Voron. This is this angle. So as I skewed this a little, I need to recheck the angles and tighten the screws. Okay, looks square for me. 2 more extrusion where the hole is a bit farther from the end of the extrusion. E extrusions come here. We need 8 more BM3 10mm screws, which will be put 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4 on the other side. Supposedly at this point I have to put 2 extrusions on the back, and yeah, it's a nice coincidence that I finished assembling at this point exactly. And this will be 2 H extrusions with a 2 small hole on the both sides of the extrusion, and then should come nicely here on the both sides. What takes the most time here is actually aligning all the screws and all the extrusions so they are kind of flush with each other. And I'm sorry for all the guys who participated in Voron Zero development. It's enormous amount of work to test this. Imagine you have to assemble this printer and then someone from Voron team tells you, okay guys, we screw up, replace this part, disassemble everything. And fit 3 more screws here because, you know, we decided to change that one printed part. I'm not very worried about putting it all square, because again this is a very small printer. It's 12 centimeters of active printing space. So in the most cases, even if I'm, I don't know, a couple degrees wrong, it's fracture of millimeter of error, and it won't affect the precision or squareness that much. What matters though is well, couple millimeters, they do matter, and that's why we have another size here which says that here exactly between the extrusion and the end there should be 37 millimeters. Let me get my calipers or a ruler. 37 and 37. Okay, 37 millimeters everywhere. I suppose I can put the red blockers here. Next part, pre-feeding more nuts, and this going nuts is a bit asymmetrical because here goes 4 nuts on the left side of the printer, 4 more nuts go to the same extrusion here, and 3 nuts are located only on the right side, bottom right side on the X of the frame. I need to install the chain right now, So I guess I had to take one M3 6mm screw, one washer, get the chain, and install it flush with the frame on the right side. Next step, the cool step, panels. Panels. Let's take the bottom panel, which is this one. There's a little cut here, and I suppose this is the exact cut which should be aligned with the chain. And let's put it into the extrusions. Voila. Oh, it works. Yes, this is the exact point where the chain should be. 3 more nuts should be preloaded here on the left side on the left bottom side of the frame. 3 more nuts should be preloaded to the top parts of the frame here and here. Next extrusion, B extrusion with no holes, which should be somewhere here. Before we mount it, we should get 2 10mm screws in the extrusion, in the edges of the extrusion, and 4 more nuts to the bottom facing edge. I hate fitting the nuts here, but here there are 4 and they should face the bottom of the printer, so like that. I believe these are for skirts only. Then comes the D extrusion. D extrusions are a bit different. They have holes, but they have holes in both directions, so there is a hole on the very end which is not tapped here, and if I rotate the extrusion there is also a hole here, so it allows to mount 2 screws. I suppose I have to sink the screws a bit deeper. Okay, it's flush, let's tighten them. Verify assembly, says manual. 3 nuts on top here, 3 nuts on top here, 6 more nuts in the middle, check, 2 nuts there, bottom should have 6 nuts here, 4 here, and yeah, basically 4 on all these extrusions and 3 on the side extrusions, check. 2 nuts on the back, 3 nuts here. Oh, there is only 1. How the hell? Oh no, there are more. There are 2 and 3. Okay, there are 3. So if you checking the frame and there are less nuts that you expected, just pry a bit with the Allen key on the side and yeah, pray that you find them. Double check. Top part, 6 nuts here, 3 nuts in the each of the top extrusion, 2 nuts on the back, check, I had them, 3 nuts on the side and 3 nuts on another side, 6 nuts here and 4 nuts in each of the extrusions. Good one. I suppose I can tighten 2 less screws on the top parts of the frame. Pretty much curious about how often do you need to tighten the screws, because basically what's happening there is no thread lock. These screws are stainless, which are softer than the black ones, also shiny. And basically due to the vibration and the changes in the thermal expansion and contraction, the frame should like wobble a bit, and generally all these connections should get loose in time. Nevertheless, this is the assembled frame, and yeah, let's see you next time when we will be assembling AP motors.